damn. Welcome to Toasted Lavender.
Well, damn.
I will be the host today. My name is Alyx, and my pronouns are she, her. And today we are continuing with our Prince series. So I think this is part 3 in the series, I think.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
And today we're talking about the movie Purple Rain.
Which is also an album.
Yeah. Also an album.
Which I didn't realize that it was like the sound. Like I didn't realize that Purple Rain was a soundtrack before it was anything else. So that was like a really exciting part of this whole thing for me.
Yeah. I probably have something to say about that later.
Great.
I want to introduce the beer that I'm drinking also. I split this beer with Kai, and it's called Petite Blanche by Rowley Farmhouse Ales, our good friend down in New Mexico. And I haven't tried it yet.
I would say that they're our best friends.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give them a best friend label too.
That sounds right.
We love them very much, so thank you, Rowley Farmhouse Ales.
Yeehaw!
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Kai. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm also sharing this Rowley farmhouse with Alyx.
Kai and Lisa were at Fisher Brewery yesterday, and we're kind enough to bring back some beer. And I am drinking a Piney Brown, which is described as El Dorado hopped American Brown.
Yeah, I want to try that.
Yeah, me too. Here goes. Yeah. Piney Brown. El Dorado's like a really candy, sweet
Yeah,
kind
I thought
of
it was
hop.
more fruity. That's why I was interested in trying it, because it sounded weird.
Yeah, I can't decide how I feel about it.
Is it piney? Do you get pine?
The aroma, there's some pine. But I don't think that hop is known for being piney.
No. I mean, not to my knowledge.
I thought it was like candy, like sweet candy.
Like you would put in like a pastry stout kind of hop.
Like you'd put it in an IPA.
Okay.
Like a fruity IPA. You know
Okay,
what I
like a
mean?
juicy, hazy.
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Whatever the hell they're called.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
depends on the day.
Those
So-
sweet ones.
New
It
England.
says that. Oh no, it says resinous back note. It says reminiscent of pineapple and mango with a resinous back note. Often used in wheat beers, pale ales, and IPAs. I thought we got some crazy something out of it, like watermelon or something. Do you remember
Pineapple, I think.
that? It's pineapple.
Yeah. I think we used it in that mango salsa beer. So like,
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay.
mango, pineapple.
Weird.
Oh, I loved that beer.
I like it. It's a dark beer, so it's got more of a body and maltiness than anything else, which is different from what we usually drink, but that's just because it makes me feel full. Anyways, I don't know what to rate it yet.
Did you introduce yourself?
Did I?
No. Who are you?
Who are
Why
you?
are you in my home?
My name is the Kid.
Oh,
I go by she, her.
shit. Damn. All right.
She, her pronouns, thank you. I go by she, her, prince pronouns.
Prince, princes,
Yeah.
princers.
Prince.
All right.
All right, I'm Lisa. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm drinking the Idaho Connection Hazy Pale Ale from Fisher. We brought back yesterday. Smashed with Idaho 7 and Simcoe hops for a robust, fruity nose and juicy finish. Hints of melon and pineapple shine through with low bitterness.
Okay, so guys, remind me the smash. Remind me the technique of the smash.
The way I remember it is, if you think of the way the word is stylized, it's capital S, capital M, lowercase a. capital
Single?
S, capital H.
Okay, got it.
Single malt and single hop.
Okay.
Smash.
Single hop. Okay, single malt and single hop.
Mm-hmm. So that's a
it's
smash.
And it's just like,
What's the green?
Wait, no.
I think it just used the word smashed.
Smashed with Idaho 7 and Simcoe
oh
hops.
yeah, and I'm like, what's the? Is that just a fun way of saying we stirred in those two things?
Like we
It's not
piled
okay.
in.
It's
the
not a smash. Okay, got it. It's very good though. I really quite
is
like
really
it.
good.
I'm
Does
glad we
anyone
had that
else wanna
little.
try?
Yeah, I would love to try.
Mine is also available for consumption.
Yeah. So is mine.
Same.
That's kind of dank
I
right
like
up front.
I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
This is
delicious. Yeah. I don't get piney out of that brown.
I get it just in the nose, like right at first.
Can I say that this beer just reminds me of my grandpa's basement?
Oh, my, like kinda musty?
Interesting.
Is that where you would watch Purple Rain?
No. It's just like kind of smoky.
Smoky.
I get a little like smoky. I don't know how to explain it. It just smells like an old man's basement.
Can I smell it?
I like it. It's comforting.
Okay.
That's the twist.
Okay, good.
Okay, I want to
I'm
try
glad
it.
it twisted in a good way.
I liked it. I like it.
I like it too.
It's not like I don't. Oh, that's mine.
It's like
That's the Raleigh.
musk, not
Yeah.
must. It's musk.
Yeah,
it's like
it's
like
really
old
like earthy,
musk.
mossy,
Yeah.
like
Mm.
earth. Or it's earth flavor.
Flavor of
Ooh,
the earth.
Yeah, I like that.
I like to
I
think
like
of it
it.
like that. If I was thinking about it like an IPA, I don't know that I'd like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it supposed to be a brown IPA?
It's just a brown ale.
Okay. Just an IPA hop.
It kind of reminds me of that Buffalo Soldier beer that Black Rye IPA that Utah has. It kind of tastes similar to that
Oh,
to
really?
me. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I haven't
And I
had it
was
for a
trying to
minute and I don't
remember.
have it side by side, but that's where my head
It-
indexes
It makes me think that maybe they tried to brew like one of the Cascadian IPAs and then like screwed up the grain bill or whatever.
So they called
'Cause
it
they-
something else?
Because they also have a Cascadian IPA on their menu.
They do.
Oh, so
I
that's
think
probably
this is like just a Frankenstein beer.
Oh, I
yeah, I
like
love
that.
that. I
like
love
that.
that.
That's P.S. That's how you win beer competitions.
Is with Frankenstein beers.
Yep.
You just find whatever fits the beer you made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
make the
don't
beer,
try to. You can try to
then
make
you-
the
and
beer,
then
but if
you
it doesn't work out, you just
fit it
categorize it.
wherever
Yeah,
it
you
is.
fit
Put
it
it where it
however it
goes.
fits.
I really quite like that. It's different. It's I don't
It's
know,
weird.
refreshing and weird.
Yep.
I like it.
Musky, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Should we rate?
Okay. Let's
Yeah.
start back at the beginning.
The Petite Blanche with Nelson Sauvin.
It's delicious.
It's delicious.
This is a solid
We've-
4 for me, no problem at all.
We've rated that before, I think.
I wonder if we'll be on
Yeah, I think we've had it.
par with where we rated it before. Yeah, we probably have had it on the show. So
I wonder if I gave it a 4.5. 'Cause
I mean-
that's what I feel like giving it.
I'll stand by whatever score. It's delicious. I love it.
It's got. Can I try again?
Take it. Oh,
It's
yeah.
too like funky. No, take mine. I don't love it.
It's too funky for
It's
you.
too funky for me.
Yeah.
I would rate it a 4.
I like it.
I may
I
have
like it
liked
too. I
it when
like
it
the
was
funk.
like not as funky.
When it was a little fresher.
Yeah, but
We should have drank it sooner.
it's all right. It's totally fine.
I feel like I probably gave it more than a 4 originally. So I think it's. But I also like that Nelson hop.
Yeah.
I love that Nelson hop. And
It's a little like astringent. Like, do you know what I mean?
It's
Yeah.
kind of like whiny.
Yeah.
It is. It is
Yeah.
quite whiny.
I like that.
I feel like that Nelson Sauvin is always kind of whiny. That Phantasm
Yeah.
that TF did recently had that, and it was super like it's like grape juice beer. And I love grape juice, and I love beer. So
I wonder if we could make like a PB&J beer with that hop.
Ooh, that
That's a
would
good
be
idea.
good.
Do like a malt, like a brown,
Yeah.
do sweet instead of dry.
Or like that coffee ale, like some of those coffee ales that are light in color. I don't know if you could pull it off with those flavors, but it's always so surprising to me when I taste one of those ales that taste like coffee and then it's like the color of like a light summer day beer, and it's just kind of surprising.
Like a Kolsch.
Yeah. And it's a fun little mind fuck. I don't know.
You expect it to be dark and heavy, and it's light.
And it's
crisp.
so nice. Yeah.
Lisa, what are we rating your beer? What do you think about it?
Oh, Idaho Connection. I would rate it, I think, like maybe like a 3.5 or a 3.75.
Okay.
I think it's fine. I don't think it's anything to write home about.
I think it's a hybrid of a West Coast and a hazy
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what they intended because I already forgot what you said about it.
I think it's a
Simcoe
hazy
and
pale,
Idaho
right?
It's a hazy pale.
Whatever that
Okay,
is.
so yeah, it is a fucking hybrid then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it. It's clean tasting to me.
Yeah.
I think it would probably be like a good eating beer. Like it would be good with a burger or something.
I like eating beer as a phrase.
You know how like some beers you're like, I can't eat anything with this. It's going to like ruin my palate.
Exactly what you mean because I
Yes.
was at the bar the other night and all I wanted was like a Sierra Nevada to go with my chicken club wrap.
Do they not have Sierra Nevadas?
No. And all I could get was like hazies or double IPAs or anything else that's like, or what I ended up drinking was Pabst. Because I just
At least your
wanted,
tab was cheap.
Oh, yeah.
That was disappointing though.
Yeah.
because I won't order beer on draft there. And that's like, we don't need to get into that because it's just,
a hard and
it's a me
fast rule.
thing. It's a me thing. I don't know.
No, I think it's an everybody thing. Well, I think it's a me thing too.
I'm
We
just
ordered
a
a pitcher
I'm
of
just
beer,
a
so-
I'm
And
just
you're
a
fine?
dirty.
You're
Yeah,
fine?
I'm fine. I'm
Great.
fine.
Perfect. No, it's just a me thing. I don't know. Or maybe it's just like a couple times that it happened where I'm just like, no more. Anyway,
This would have been the right beer to go with your chicken club wrap
Mhm.
though. I feel like this would be great.
it would have been. I was so upset. I kept looking in the beer case. I'm like, there's nothing there for me.
No one in Ogden carries Sierra Nevada.
Yeah.
That's so
this
weird.
is a new
We
thing.
figured this
Okay,
out
but I have
recently.
to say we did carry it at Salt and Hops right when we opened, and it doesn't sell. And so
Interesting.
it's
Well,
taking
everybody's
up
had it.
precious shelf space, and it doesn't sell, and so
Everybody's
you don't
had it,
stock
right?
it. Yeah.
But if you're at the Salt and Hops and you're like, I want fun beers,
You're
you're
not
gonna buy
Sierra Nevada.
Sierra Nevada.
Right.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't carry it.
No,
It's just
you
what it should
shouldn't.
be. We
But
just shouldn't carry it.
I just
A
don't
bar
understand
should
how
probably
a
have it.
bar or a restaurant doesn't have it.
Yeah. It seems like an easy to please 3 different crowds kind of
I
beer,
feel like
so-
it's a go-to beer. If you're a beer place, it's like it's a royal family of beer that you should just have because people know it and like it and they know what they're going to get. And sometimes you don't feel experimental and you just fucking want a beer.
Well, it's like the West Coast's version of like the Sam Adams Company, like the Boston Beer Company.
Exactly.
Because when you're on the East Coast, like you know that their beers are going to be solid, and you
Yep.
can like
Order a
safely
Sam
order
Adams
one.
or whatever. Yeah.
And it'll probably taste good with whatever you're eating.
Yep.
It's just a flagship, easy, good.
Regular
yeah.
ass beer.
Regular ass beer.
What are you going to rate your piney, Lindsay?
Mm. That's interesting that you asked because I was just thinking about that. I'm not offended by this. I'm not like drawn to it though. I don't think I'm going to think about it. 3 3/4.
That's where I would rate it. I liked it. I wasn't offended by I enjoyed it, but
You know,
it's
if
not like
someone's
one of the best
cooler-
things I've
If
ever
I'm at
had.
a party and I have to reach into a cooler and I knew what that was, I would probably drink one.
Yep, same. It's good. Musk.
I like it. Well, like I already said, we're here to talk about Purple Rain, the movie, and also the
You keep
music.
saying the movie as
Well,
if
also the
they're
music.
separate.
Well,
So can we talk about the movie without talking about the music? No,
Not
we wouldn't
really.
do that.
Okay, damn.
We're here to talk about
Okay,
Purple
we're
Rain.
talking about
I just don't know why you wanted to classify it as a movie. I was just confused by that.
probably just because we watched the movie.
Yeah, probably.
We also listened to the album though.
Yeah.
I wonder how many times we listened to that since you've been here. Did
Probably
you-
3 or 4 or 5.
So I've had the
Five or
CD in
seven.
my truck, and it's all I've listened to this whole past week.
Oh,
shit.
good.
So it's like
Okay,
really in my
you got it.
noggin.
Okay.
Great. So
Yeah.
you've got.
We've also listened to it on record at our own
Uh-huh.
home multiple times this
Okay.
last week. So
Nice.
We're feeling
I'm
really
excited
good
for
about
you.
it.
I'm excited for you. Because that's about how I experienced this album as a teenager.
On
It's
repeat.
just like on repeat all the time.
It's a good repeater though,
It is.
because I feel like it has build ups and come downs and
Yep.
like
over and
A whole
over
range
and
of
over.
emotion.
Yep.
it's like a little roller coaster that you just want to get back on the roller coaster. you
I
know?
don't get sick of it.
Yeah.
All right. So our task for this episode was to watch the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys watched the movie a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And we watched it last night. And I'm here to confess that I have only seen the movie a handful of times, like maybe 5 times.
This was only my second time
Yeah.
seeing it. So
I am not as literate in the movie as I am with the album. So
I
it's
think that's
really
probably fair for your generation though, because
Yeah.
it came out before any of us were born.
right. So I grew up or my fandom grew up listening to this album over and over and over and over again. And then I rented the movie. So that's how when I watched the movie, I don't know how to explain, but I just haven't seen it very often.
you kind of already had a precursor
Yes.
with the music, and then the film was like, oh, this is together, but
Yes.
you already had an idea formed or whatever.
It's odd. I mean, it's strange to me that I have my own experiences and feelings about a specific song, and then seeing
Mm.
the movie
Mhm.
and where they put those songs in the movie
Little Nicky.
is so yeah.
I had that same
You're like,
feeling.
this isn't what's in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Same with
already?
When Doves Cry. I agree
Oh,
with
yeah.
that so
Right.
hard. It kind of weirded me out to
Right.
affiliate those songs with what was happening in the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I give a rundown of some stats on Purple Rain?
Please do.
Because I got some notes right here, and let's just get that. over
Was
with.
this your first time watching it, Lindsay? Did you determine that?
According to me, it
The
was.
first.
You didn't remember it though.
Not enough.
Okay.
Okay.
Not enough that when I listen to the album, I don't think of the movie. I might now.
Okay, yeah.
So, Purple Rain, the song, was actually the song that's on the album was recorded live at First Avenue Club in Minneapolis.
During the filming or
No,
just at a
before they really even knew what the concept for the movie was going to be.
concert? Okay.
But the director of the movie was at this show and came up to Prince after the show and was like, I think we need this song for your movie. This song is what we need to tie it all together. And that was Purple Rain. So the first time it was played was at First Avenue Club in Minneapolis, August 3rd, 1983. And it was for a benefit show for the something Minnesota Dance Theater.
Oh, okay.
So tickets were $25 a piece, which seems kind of expensive for 1983.
Yeah.
But they raised $25K or something. for
Wait,
this-
can I look up an inflation calculator?
Yes. So the movie opened July 27th, 1984. It cost $7 million to make, and in the first weekend, it opened in 900 theaters and made $70 million total. So it made 10 times the amount it cost to make the movie. It sold 20 million records worldwide, and spent 24 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard charts.
In 1983, a $25 ticket in today's dollars would be $71.21.
Yeah, that's a steep ticket price for
kind
the
of a
average
premium.
person.
Yeah,
For a club.
Yeah, for a club show, that's it's like
Mm-hmm.
the equivalent of like going to Vegas and
But-
getting a deal to see one of the strip shows. Like
At this point in time, Prince was like
A big deal.
hot shit.
he was hot shit ish. I don't think he was yeah. He had
Not
just,
huge yet.
He just finished the tour for 1999, which had bangers like
Little Red Corvette.
exactly.
So he's like been on a few tours. He's
Already
He
has
has
a following.
a following.
household name now.
I don't know.
Maybe?
I don't think
In-
it's household.
I would say in his
Minneapolis.
geographical area.
yeah, in the region maybe.
Yeah. If you're into like the scene, like
Yeah.
live music.
I'm trying to think
you
of an
know.
equivalent today of like maybe what Prince was at the time. They've had a couple successful singles, but they've never really become like a.
He's not headlining yet,
Well, I mean, he headlines his own tour, right?
but like big.
But he's not like
big
Rolling
names.
Stones. He's
He-
not like.
He had opened for Rolling Stones by
Yeah, we
this
talked
time.
about that.
Yeah, he opened for Rolling Stones and he toured with Rick James by this point.
But this is like he's still like opening for the time.
No.
No,
Not at
I
this-
think
Not at this point.
No.
He
Yeah.
actually fired people from the time right before Purple Rain, right before they started recording filming the movie. There's like a riff at the time between the time and Prince. They have a little bit of bad feelings happening.
Okay, so I have a question about the movie. Like, is it just a story that's a Hollywood production that he was just a fucking insane marketing genius to put together this whole feature with a great soundtrack, or is there any like historical accuracy to the events and how they took place?
As far as I know, it is loosely based on his own upbringing in life.
Okay.
Loosely based. Like
Okay.
some things are
Interpreted.
pure fiction and
Sure.
some things are
Well, we know in real life he had like 1 million siblings, and in the
Yeah.
movie he's an only child.
Yes. But we do know that his father was abusive growing up.
And his father was also a musician.
Yes, and his father and mother were both musicians. And I don't know how old he's supposed to be in the movie, but
I
he was
think he's-
actually like 24, 25.
25. 24 or 5. 6.
But he seems like he's like 17 or 8, like supposed to be like 17 or 18.
But
in the movie.
Yeah.
But is there that much difference?
They call him
No.
the kid,
Absolutely
Right.
and he
not.
lives at home.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Well, and he wasn't, his parents had separated by the time he was something like 13. So,
He also is like, they talk about him at the club, like, we thought he was going to be the next big thing. So clearly he hasn't put out 6 albums in his
Yeah,
career as
yeah,
this
yeah.
character.
yes.
So I think it's semi-autobiographical, where
Yeah.
it's sort of the telling of his story of trying to come up as an artist. And I remember reading in this book that he, at the age of 16, was looking for a job in the Yellow Pages, and he couldn't find anything that he liked. And so he was like, well, I'm just going to stick to the musician thing, and I'm just fucking going to make it happen.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm going to do. So I think this was supposed to be a little, the way that in the book the band talks about it, they're like, oh, we're going to make like a cult film and like
Which
people
they
will
did.
like it.
Yeah.
It was obviously way bigger than that.
Yeah.
Well, and they at least mostly, I think, had already come up with like the record and they were building the movie around it.
So what the director had to do was sit down with Prince and try to pick songs to fit, because Prince carried around literally a purple notebook and was writing the movie down and had like a script, and he presented it and people were like, I don't think this is going to work like as you have it.
Right.
Because in Prince's movie, like, a lot more people die. and there's like more violence. There's some scenes that got changed from like Prince's original script and stuff. So he had the core idea of it, and it was more of an autobiographical thing.
And was Morris Day in the time, like obviously I listened to Morris Day in the time, and it plays like a Prince album.
Yeah.
So, and they're coming from around the same time, and in the movie they have
In the
them.
same place.
Yes, they're absolutely, and it has that Minneapolis sound, whatever. However you want to describe that, but there's a sound that's the only name there is
Right.
for it.
That's why that name exists.
But were they like in the movie they have them like pitted against each other, competing for like one of the top 3 show spots
And when
in
he
this
was-
particular club.
When he was pitching the movie, there were people at Warner Brothers that were like, we need to focus more on the time.
Okay, so that was probably
Oh.
kind of where the like competition aspect came, because they were
Right.
literally coming up and out of the same town right around the
Yes.
same time.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And had similar styles.
Very similar, fun.
But when you watch it now, like, not really. Like, the sound, yes, certain sounds are similar
But the
between them,
vibe is different.
but they're completely different.
yeah, for sure.
The time is like just dance, like, let's dance and like have a good time.
Well, and they
Prince
don't
is
get
like, I'm
super
gonna
deep
roll
and
around on the
ballady.
floor.
Very like they're
Yeah.
more fun,
Oh, yeah.
upbeat, and
Yeah.
Prince has like heart daggers that just make you want to.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
And like just a more range of emotion. I feel like Prince takes you all over the place, and the time's kind of more dance.
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier, how Purple Rain is like such an emotional roller coaster as an album,
yeah.
and the time is not quite as roller coastery.
I liked how. Can I say something else about the time?
Yeah.
I like loved this moment that was so over the top ridiculous when you first meet the time and Morris Day, and he comes out to perform on stage, and it's like his first performance, and he like scuzzes off Prince and is like so dramatic about it. Like you can tell there's this rivalry.
He's like, come see how it's done.
Yes.
Like, before he gets on
And
stage.
you're like, okay, this fucking guy. And then he gets out on stage and like is so upbeat and like singing this song, and his like assistant guy
Yeah.
comes out with a mirror
Yes.
and he literally like fixes his hair and then starts dancing the choreography, and the guy holding the mirror starts dancing the choreography too, like it's a part of the shtick.
Yes, it's the whole shtick.
I
It's
just
funny.
I
It's
like could
hilarious.
not get over that moment. I was like, this is brilliant / absurd. Like, I'm totally buying into it.
I think that's how you sell anything, is brilliant / absurd.
Yeah,
I think so
I do
too.
That's why I like the time, is that it's all just like very absurd.
It's
kooky.
over the top.
It's Flavor
Yeah.
Flav.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
kooky.
Yeah.
I
It's like
love-
giant clock necklaces. That's what the time is.
And giant like fur coats and what just
know.
like.
But this guy
wild.
who's clearly not in the band, not playing an instrument, not singing, just starts. He's just holding this giant mirror and he just starts
He's
dancing.
just the hype man.
He's
and he's a
the
good
hype
dancer.
man. He was a great dancer. I thought Morris Day was a really good actor for being like primarily a musician. I thought he like did a good job playing that kind of that bully role, and like
probably because
kind of the villain. Yeah, like has he acted in anything else? Do you guys know? Is that
Prince
just like
made everyone go to acting classes
oh, for real?
and dance classes.
Hell yeah, of course he did. I feel like
He like
That
made them
reflected-
go. It was like
you're gonna be in my
scheduled.
movie. You're
Yeah.
gonna go to dance.
I think that's a fair request.
But I think that's fucking rad. Like, he's like, I want all my friends and people I know to be in this movie. Like, I want it to be real and authentic,
and he used all their real names. I thought that was really cool.
except for his own.
right, he's just
Well,
the kid.
Yeah.
He's the only one that didn't have his own name.
But I could see that taking away from the story. If you're like a 17-year-old kid and your name's Prince,
So here's what I'm gonna say.
I'd love to
is-
hear your take.
My name is Prince, and I am Punky.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
But he like obviously wanted it to maybe not be a direct correlation of like, this is my autobiography.
Okay, but
So it kind of pulls his identity away from it. And so you see the full picture.
I fully understand what you're saying, but if you break down what the word prince means, and then the kid is his name in the movie, like, that's it. He is Prince in the movie. He's the kid.
Why do you think he didn't use his name?
I think he didn't have to.
It was part
Like,
of the whole.
It's a part of the
whole vibe, the whole
music
like marketing
identity.
Yeah.
Is that he's just the kid.
He's just the kid. I totally agree.
Just like he was Prince, even though, like, it doesn't really necessarily matter that his Christian given name is Prince. Like, he goes by Prince, period, the end. And then in the movie, he goes by the kid.
And it like speaks for like it just like speaks for itself, kind of like that.
I think it rings just as like influential as the name Prince.
Well, I just want to say that I feel like the movie, like, I feel like this movie and album pairing, like, offers an insight into the brilliant mind that was Prince's, because I feel like this movie, like, if I'm being completely honest, the movie's not that great. It's a good movie and it's enjoyable, but there's not really, like, a really interesting storyline in my opinion. Like, it's very much just like about him like doing great performances and great music. Like, to me, the movie is about the music, and the plot and everything else that's happening is just kind of like
Just to make
sloppily
it a movie.
put together to make it a movie. But the movie won a bunch of awards. It was nominated for a bunch of awards, and I think that the music is absolutely brilliant. But I also feel like Prince was kind of a dirtbag in the movie. Like,
He was a huge dirtbag in
not
the
a
movie.
likable character.
he's
Yeah, I
not
don't get it.
likable, and it's like kind of icky how he's really icky.
We can
in
get into the
movie.
icky.
Why did he want to portray himself like that? He was 100% in control of this.
I think
Script.
that's I
Because
think
he's a 25-year-old dude that's just like
I think he was
out-
trying to
out
tell a
to get
story.
gals.
I think he was trying to
Do
tell a
it.
story, and if
He also
that,
has an ego.
if that made his character more like
Hard.
flawed and like, you know, tragic, because now he has a cycle of
Abuse that
abuse and yuckiness.
when he
that
slaps
he's trying.
when he slaps Appalachia, I was just like, oh my god.
What's her name? Apollonia. Apollonia? Bologna.
Apollonia.
Apollonia 6.
Apollonia.
Well,
6.
before she gets in the band, she is Apollonia 4.
Fun fact, the gal that was originally going to play that role was from Vanity 6, that
Oh.
band, but quit because she got offered a job to work on a Scorsese movie that never happened for her.
That's a shame.
Yeah. So they had at the last minute, they had to find that chick. And they, in the book, it says there were like 700 people that they like interviewed for that role. And then Prince like called up the director and was like, I can work with her.
Do you think it's because
She'll
she like took off
I'll
her
do
shirt
that, girl.
at the lake like right
Probably,
away?
Yeah. Oh, that scene. Yes, where he's
Ooh, he's so manipulative.
We were so mad
We were
about
just
that
like, what a
scene.
fucking
Oh, we were
dick.
so
We
mad
did
about
too. We
that
were
scene.
like, who would want to hang around
Like,
that guy?
okay, so
and she just giggles at it. Like,
I think you need to lay the scene out for.
okay,
us.
here's the scene for our listeners who, if you haven't watched Purple Rain yet, just pause
this whole thing's
episode-
a spoiler. You should just watch it.
pause the episode, go watch it, come back here, and now what I'm going to say about this scene is that the kid, Mr. Prince, rides his very cool motorcycle and gives Apollonia
Look
Her name
what's
is
happened.
Hey,
Her name's hard.
Bologna.
her
Apollonia. Like Appalachia was Onia.
You heard how that went for me when I tried to use the.
I'm just gonna say the girlfriend. The girlfriend.
And it's her real name in real life.
No, it's not.
It is.
Is it?
It's her real name in real life. All of the characters use their real name except for Prince.
I thought her
Okay,
name was like.
I'll stop
Never mind.
being silly about her baloney name. Apollonia is getting a ride on Prince's.
Very cool motorcycle, which actually her seat looked very comfortable.
It did look very comfortable.
Yeah.
Like it was. I would ride on this motorcycle. It seemed like safer. I won't fall right off the back.
Yeah, there's a backrest.
So he takes her to this very like abandoned. Is there like railroad tracks or something? Like a
No,
little
he's just out in the
bridge?
country.
Okay, they're out in the country and there's like
Foresty, lakey
trees and
trees.
there's a little like body of water and they're like by the shore of this little lake and they're talking about
Initiation.
oh right, she asks if he can like help her break into the music business and he's like no, I can't do that.
He said nope.
He said nope, I can't. He said nope. Yeah.
Just like so cool, and then just like
And
shakes
she's like,
his mane
what the
in
fuck
the
do you
wind.
mean? And
Throw some rocks into the water, and then he's like, there's an initiation.
right, they have to do the initiation.
And you have to
Which
cleanse your... was it
Cleanse yourself in the lakes of or in
Minnetonka.
the waters
Lake Minnetonka.
of Minnetonka.
Purify yourself in the water of the lake.
It's a bunch
Minnetonka.
of bullshit.
Say it all in one go.
You have to purify yourself in the lake of Minnetonka. You have to purify yourself in Lake Minnetonka.
Something like that. Yeah.
And so she's like, what? But then she just starts taking her clothes off.
She doesn't
But
think
he's
twice.
just like looking all like, hey, when she's just like stripping down.
Yeah.
And then as she's in the air to jump into the lake, he's like, wait.
Wait.
Yeah, she's already started jumping. Like, there's no
He's
stopping.
literally in the air.
And then he's
jumping
like,
into the-
I tried to stop you.
Yeah. So she jumps in and it's cold water, apparently.
God, I can't imagine Minnesota water is ever not cold.
Yeah. I don't know. So she gets out. Well, she's still in the water and he like gets on his motorcycle and fucking leaves. Like just leaves her all alone.
Well,
He's like,
she's
do you do
naked
this
and-
to all the girls?
Right. So she's all like pissed off because apparently he only wanted to see her boobs and that's it. And then he like scampers off.
And he's
But
like
then he-
giggling.
And like is watching, like pulls over to another little area and is like watching her frantically like be stranded nude at the lake.
Right.
Well, and then she's trying to put on her leather outfit and she's soaking wet. And that is not... She's like on the
I
ground, like
know.
a
She was
flopping
not
fish.
prepared
This
for
is a
the
terrible
lake visit.
scene.
Yes, I think it's so fucked up. And then he goes back to laugh at her and then also like
That
Allow
wasn't the
her-
water of Minnetonka.
yeah, he's like, this isn't Lake Minnetonka. You
She's
dummy.
like, why would you do that? But he said that before
Yeah.
before he rode away. I think he said that.
There was a miscommunication because she thought that was her prompt to get nude and jump in the water.
And
Which
just
is
let
what
it
he
happen.
wanted.
Which is what he
It
wanted.
is what he wanted. He totally set her up. And then he does that bullshit
no,
thing
he
of
needs
like...
the power. He's like,
It
no,
is
that
power.
wasn't Lake Minnetonka.
It's manipulative and shitty.
And then
Also-
where he starts to drive off and then
Oh, yeah,
stops.
I fucking
Ooh, I
hate that.
hate that.
Like
It's so
five
Like,
smug.
yeah, too many times.
Too many times, Prince. Too many times. You
Yeah,
did
I hate that.
Like once, twice, maybe.
And she's just like this doting, beautiful woman that's like, oh, come
And
back. And it's
I
just
want
like,
to. I want to just break in and say that we are supposed to know that she is 19 years old.
Oh.
It says so on her contact information
Oh, yeah.
at the club
right.
that she's supposed to be 19.
Mm.
You know
So
what's
it's even
interesting?
more shitty because she's not a grown ass woman
Right.
that can like call a cab or whatever. She's 19.
No, she's a little.
And there's no cell phones in 1980.
And she's like naked by a lake somewhere in the
so
bushel.
bad.
Like,
And he just makes her think he's gonna leave her there.
yeah. Ooh, I don't.
That is not a likable moment.
Yeah.
It's like setting up for cycle of abuse to me. Like,
It
I have the upper
absolutely is.
hand, and it's icky. It's icky.
Yes, it totally is. I hear what you're saying.
Do you
I
think
think
he
it's
knew
bad.
this, or do you think it was him? Do you think he played
I don't
this
know.
part?
I don't know.
Or
I
was it
kind of
him?
think it was him.
It
I really
felt
kinda
a little
think it was
too
him.
natural.
It felt very real.
Yeah. Yeah.
But his dad was a dick, and I think that's a big part of this whole movie because at the time they were rehearsing these songs, he was like making amends with his dad. He was like visiting his dad. He was like bringing some of the musicians to his dad's house. His dad wrote part of the bridge on Computer Blue, like with some of the band members there.
I thought that he gave a lot of sympathy for his father's character.
He did.
Like, whenever there was some sort of abuse scene with his parents, he was just like crying. And then he would stand up to him sometimes, but it was always like,
Well, he's
Not
being
in a
manipulated
genuine
too.
way. Like, he would just be like, hey, where are you in this house?
Uh-huh.
After you just like
No,
beat my mother.
he said, "Where are you, motherfucker?"
Right.
And then he did a twirl.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it was
yeah,
dramatic.
there was a really dramatic twirl at that
A
time.
dramatic
But,
twirl.
like,
I
he-
loved it. I had to pause the movie.
Like, his father, spoiler alert, tries to commit suicide. And then it's like, it doesn't matter that he has been a shitty dad and that he has abused his mom his whole life and him, like, he hits him. It's like, now I want to dedicate this song to him. I want to, and it's like, I'm going to go visit him in the hospital.
That's where When Doves Cry did not fit with the musical alignment that I was seeing.
One moment, though. Important part of that. So when there's a scene kind of building up to the suicide attempt where the mom and dad get in a fight and the mom's like, you don't love me, and like whatever, and Prince is like in the room and he's like, I would die for you, and he walks out.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Apparently
I caught
that really happened.
And is that where I would die
but
for you
we're all
comes
supposed
from?
to
Oh, yeah,
feel so
yeah.
sorry for him, and I
No,
did.
I'm not
But I
saying-
sort of did. Like, that moment was very powerful, and I very much was like, he really does just want to be a good man and a good husband, but
That's
he fucking beats.
complicated.
But
The duality of
They're
man.
Yes,
obviously
but-
showing it as like they want to show compassion to the dad. Like that's the narrative
yes,
they're telling.
and I don't want to feel compassion for that.
Well, and he's so mad at his dad in all of these scenes, yet he doesn't show any remorse when he hits his girlfriend. Like there's
never
no,
apologized.
he never apologizes. He never is like, oh my God,
I
I'm turning
fucked up.
into my dad. Like it's just like the cycle and he's just accepting it.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of the movie.
Yeah,
I think
I-
a lot, the theme of the movie, Purple Rain, purple is like the dawn, like morning, and rain is cleansing. And so he's breaking the cycle. That's supposedly
How is he breaking
what
it?
he's doing. No, well, obviously he went right up to the line, right? Like,
And then he just like slapped her once and
well,
stopped.
no,
so.
and then he plays Wendy and Lisa's song. Right.
I know, and we're all supposed to like see him as some god when he comes on the stage, and he's like, "I'd like to give credit to Wendy and Lisa for this song," and it's
He's
like,
been a dick to them
you
through
are
the
a
whole
fucking
movie.
asshole. Like that doesn't redeem you.
There's also no conclusion to what happens with Apollonia. Apollonia. God, her name is so hard. There's no conclusion. We don't know. Like, does he apologize to her? Are they
No.
still together? Is
Yeah.
she still mad at him?
yes.
Well,
Is he just going to still be an abusive dickhead
Yes.
to her?
That's
But
it.
it's like just
Is
because
Prince
he
a
plays this
Scorpio?
song?
No, he's a Gemini.
Everyone just looks at me and shuts up.
The movie kind of ends, spoiler again, where him and his girlfriend are just like in this kind of death spiral of they love each other so much, and like that's how those relationships work, right? Where it's like very intense and passionate, and then like they beat the shit out of each other or whatever, and then they come back together.
I'm so
and
sorry.
like,
I love you so much.
like
But there's
don't
not
don't
even an
worry about
apology.
it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's not even
There's
an apology.
never
It's
an
crazy.
apology.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Ugh.
I worship you, you're a god.
She just keeps coming back.
But I feel like that's like his parents' relationship.
Yes, it's exactly it.
And I think that's the point.
I know. And I
Okay.
hate it so much.
Can we
Yeah,
talk
I hate
about
it too.
too how it's like building up that she joins this girl group and now they're competing against their music acts for a spot at the club?
Because
And we never
Morris
find out who
stays-
gets cut.
We never find out. And it's like,
Yeah.
is he going to just not perform so she has her chance to shine? But
No.
he has this opportunity for Purple Rain.
I think it's
Like-
supposed to be like self-explanatory when you see like
That
the
he's
club
selfish?
bouncer just like vibing hard.
Yes. vibing.
Yeah, they
He's
cut
like-
to the they cut to the audience.
Yeah,
He's
and like he's vibing so hard, even though he's been mad at the kid, and he's just like vibing so hard,
Like,
and
this
that's
is
where
the
we're supposed to
kid
be
I've
like, the kid's
always-
all right.
Well, he walks through the goddamn hallways and everyone's lined up like, that was great. They're all like high
And they've been
fiving him.
bullying him throughout the
And
whole
then he
movie.
just cruises out on his motorbike.
But here's the thing, like, the whole thing is like, is he going to be selfless? He's telling her throughout the whole movie, they don't care about you. No one cares about you or your career.
Like I do,
Like
except
I do.
the one thing that I can do, I will not do.
Yes, and I thought, okay, he's going to choose her over his music and he's not going to perform and let her have her moment. And then he fucking goes out there and performs. So, like, does she get thrown off the stage? Like, is her band
Well,
not-
I'm going to say that
Never get married.
he. Oh.
Oh,
boy, yeah, that
Oh
was a bad. That was bad.
Oh my.
I'm just saying, doesn't that explain it? Never get married. He's an independent
that's-
prince.
he is
Right in
very all about himself, like a very selfish energy throughout
Yeah,
the whole
yeah,
movie.
yeah. For sure. I will.
That's
say
how
that
he was described in real life too.
There were 4 bands competing for 3 spots, and we met the Time, the Kid,
And
the
there was
Revolution,
one other-
Apollonia 6, and Des Dickerson, which
Des Dickerson.
isn't even introduced to us.
But he doesn't go. Does he go by that name though in, the, movie?
I don't think so.
So Des Dickerson was the former guitar player for the Revolution.
Okay, but there was another name. I feel like there was a name.
No, it is. That's the guy you're thinking of.
Okay.
With the,
Yeah.
with the headband.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And like the white.
Okay.
I want to be a mountaineer,
Yes.
mountaineer, mountaineer.
Okay.
Yes,
That's the song.
That's
That's
Des
the guy.
So
Dickerson.
do we just assume he got thrown
I
off?
think he got.
Because Apollonia 6 killed it in their corsets and their
I'm gonna say
Sexy
no.
Shooter
I'm gonna
song.
say
They
I'm gonna
killed it.
say "Sex Shooter" was the worst song.
No, but I'm saying they killed it. Remember all the people that came in to see them? Like
It
what
was
the
so
owner,
bad.
but what the owner was looking for, they delivered.
Lisa, one of the women was chewing gum the whole performance.
Oh, I know. And you know what? One of the backup singers was Prince's girlfriend at the time I read.
Oh boy.
I don't know which
He had
one.
a lot of girlfriends.
Probably the one that
Lisa.
didn't have any lines.
The one who he was dating while making the film. I
Okay.
read.
One of the ones.
he was
dating
one of
while
the
making
ones.
the-
It wasn't the blonde
not
girl,
the-
it was the other one.
Yeah, the one with no lines.
There's
Yes.
seriously so many. And I don't think I knew this really until I started reading the book.
Uh-huh.
But Wendy and Lisa were in a relationship.
That's
They were gay
amazing.
together.
I wish.
They were gay
I'm
together.
so glad I
I
know
love that.
this.
Yeah.
And did they really write Purple Rain together? Or is that just part of
I
the
think
plot?
it's part of the movie, but I really have no
I'll
idea.
give you like my cliff notes,
'Kay.
which are probably mostly correct, which is that Prince, at the time he was touring of 1999, he would go to other artists' concerts. And he went to a Bob Seger concert. And he asked his like manager who was there with him, like, why do people like Bob Seger? The manager was like, he writes these big booming ballads. And I think I wrote it down. Anyway, he writes these big ballads. And Prince is, he's like, okay. So
He's
I
like, I
think-
need one.
I think he started working on Purple Rain and he presented it to the Revolution as a very like slow, almost like country song. And he's just sort of played it for him, and they each started adding stuff. So Purple Rain was a very like collaborative song for the band. And yes,
Which is probably why it's so fucking vibey.
there's like a piano part that I think Lisa taught Dr. Fink, where it was like your one hand is doing something and your other harmonizes with it. It was some weird technique, and I don't know. I don't play the piano, so I don't know. But like Lisa taught Dr. Fink this thing, and he added that into Purple Rain. So each of them sort of had like these things that they added to the song. And so when Prince says, you know, this is Wendy and Lisa's song, I don't think it's so literal, but it's definitely
just
like
it wasn't just
it
my
wasn't
song.
my song.
Okay.
Yeah. So my point with this, before we move on with Wendy and Lisa, Prince really liked Wendy. And when Des Dickerson left the band, which apparently he was like kind of an old fogey, sort of like, he thought he was the shit, but he also had a wife and nobody else was married. So there was like this constant like, well, my wife, like.
Do you think that's where the line in the movie comes from, where they're like, daddies like don't ever get married?
No, I think that was
That's straight
genuinely
from
from his dad.
Oh.
But Des Dickerson at the time was having like domestic issues. He also thought he was really good. Like, and he also had his own vibe that he was on. And so they weren't getting along. He was like late to practice, whatever. So Prince is like,
You're gone.
why don't you go ahead and get along? Like, and that's why he gave him that little guest spot in the movie, I think.
It was like a consolation prize.
Yeah. Was like,
You see him for like 3.5
because he's been
seconds.
in the band up until that entire time, until like right after 1999 tour and right as they started the Purple Rain stuff. So anyway, Prince hires Wendy,
Is Wendy the guitar player or the piano player?
the guitar player.
Okay.
So at the time when he hired her, she was 19.
Wendy.
Yes. And so
And-
a lot of the band was like,
Also,
this girl?
reminder about when they're on stage and they're doing the guitar solo and Wendy has to get down on her knees.
Simulate.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah, that's
Putting it. Yeah. Yep.
That part.
yeah.
And how much of
For
that-
the listener at home,
Here's what
she's simulating oral sex during his guitar.
Here's the point I wanted to make, and thank you for the transition, because Prince liked Wendy. Wendy was gay. Wendy was with Lisa.
She's like, fuck this
And
I don't want to
Prince...
simulate oral sex for this motherfucker.
No, here's the interesting thing. Prince would come to town in LA and stay with Wendy and Lisa. Like, sleep on their couch. Like,
guy.
back
So
in the
they
day.
were all buddies.
So they've known each other for a long time, and I think he had the hots for Wendy.
And she was like the one he could never get.
Here's the kicker. Wendy has a twin sister.
Oh my gosh. And he slept with her.
Wendy's twin sister is named Susanna, and she was
And she's the backup singer.
she was like in the music industry as well. And
Or
so
she was Susanna, for God's sake.
Prince brought Susanna into the whole production of
That's
and
Wendy's
started to like
twin.
yeah.
So she played in the movie. She was the one he was dating.
Well,
Let me fact check.
Apollonia was the one
Well,
he was
but
dating.
like
No, in real
but,
life
like,
while
in
they
real
were
life,
filming.
he was dating.
Oh,
he
yeah,
never
word.
dated
No, yes,
Apollonia.
Susanna-
Yes.
While
Yes,
the
he
movie
was-
was in production,
She
he was
played
paired
after
up with
Susanna. He was after Susanna.
Yes.
And she played one of the backup singers in the Apollonia 6 in the movie.
Okay.
That was her tie.
Okay.
That's weird.
Yeah.
He was like, I can't get with Wendy, obviously,
This has
which
got-
is interesting because of his lyrical content for some of his songs, right? He has songs about girls that are lesbians that don't want him,
Yeah, listen to our last Prince
right?
episode about that.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting. I think there's a lot in Prince's songs that is true to his life.
Yeah. And it's complicated.
But they were in a relation. Wendy and Lisa were in a relationship when he hired Wendy.
Oh.
So
he had known them.
what I know is that there was a period of time where Prince went from the Prince that we're talking about to a much more like devout Jehovah's Witness.
Oh.
And
this was a factor in
Wendy and Lisa, he has an opinion about their relationship in the future.
But this is interesting to me because he obviously was fine with it
Yeah.
at a time where a lot of people weren't.
Right.
But
he
he's
has
also
an opinion about it later in life.
But yes.
And they are still together later in life, so their relationship is very valid and real.
Well,
They were together for a long time.
Yeah.
I think they broke up eventually.
so I'm going to have to keep a lot of this for
yeah, that's
save it for later.
later, but
But I think it's an interesting.
But it's
part of the
interesting
story.
I'm looking back a little bit because I have done a little bit of research, but like later in history, Prince
on in the discography, whatever. Yeah.
Prince like tells Lisa and Wendy they have to break up. Like
Oh my God.
he's telling them to break up.
He has a lot of power issues, it seems like,
Yeah.
and also maybe sort of a huge ego at this point in
Yeah.
his career where does he see it as a challenge? Or
He sees it as a like religious issue.
no, but at this point, like when they're making, he obviously is fine with it at this point, right?
Yeah.
But he like has kind
Oh,
of this
well,
history.
Can I read this Tori Amos quote
Oh,
at this
please
time?
do,
Because
please
I
do.
feel like this sums up
Yeah.
kind of what you're touching on.
I don't have a good answer for you anyways.
Yes, Lisa. So in the book I read, there was a quote for Tori Amos, which I thought was really interesting because we just talked about
It's very appropriate.
Tori Amos in the last episode. And she says about Prince, and I can't remember when this was from, but I don't think it matters. She says, there was no apology for his expression. People work and play with the whole idea of the sacred and the profane, but he was holding both at the same time in a new way. It seemed to be this completely Dionysian energy, but it wasn't segregated, and it wasn't just to be shocking. Sexuality can be forced, crass, gimmicky, but this was just who he was as a performer. He reminded me of Rimbaud and Baudelaire. See, should have practiced that. This passionate kind of fire that always seemed to have intention. Which I think is true,
Yeah.
because I don't think he does it overtly. I think he does it just as his self. Like, that is just, he doesn't separate his sexuality from his everyday being. I think they're all just mixed together. It's not like he needs to be in a mood. I think he's just always
He
open
is the mood.
to
He is
that
the mood.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he had a lot of girlfriends all the time.
Right. Which is interesting that people thought that he was gay. Yes. Because,
He was kind of a womanizer.
yeah. There was always, like, ladies around him. As far as I know. I don't know. It's interesting.
If you read this book I've been reading, he always
Yeah.
has, like, a few gals that he's, like, charming.
I think that he was,
I think he meant it. I think he genuinely liked them. But I do think it was that he wanted to do it.
I think that he was a little bit
All the
more fluid than what the mainstream media will tell you.
Well, he slept over at Wendy and Lisa's house on the regs.
Well,
And in the book, Wendy says, we were all just in love with each other. So,
everybody
love,
just a
bro.
freaking.
everybody's just a freak.
Can we talk about the F word that they used in the film?
Absolutely.
When it's
Yes.
when Morris Day calls him a long-haired
F-word slur, long form F-word slur. And then, like, change of scene, like, the end.
Yes,
That's
nothing's
it. It's never
addressed.
addressed ever again.
He doesn't get it. It's just yelled at him as he's driving off on a motorcycle, so he doesn't get to respond, but he obviously was. Do you feel like he was addressing what some people were saying about him? Do you feel like he was.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was the artistic
Absolutely.
director of the film, right?
absolutely
Yeah.
he was addressing what people were saying about him.
But wasn't he also like driving Apollonia away on the motorcycle?
No.
No, he was alone at this time, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I thought it was after he grabbed her.
Oh, is it when he grabs
He scooped
her?
her up and they drove off. And
Yeah.
he was like,
Oh, and
in
he
a-
steals
yeah.
her from Morris, kind
And
of.
he's like, "Hey,
yeah,
you
yeah,
F-word."
yeah, right. Because he's pissed
What are
that
you
his.
saying?
Well, he's
but
taking your girl away to do whatever they're gonna do.
They're gonna
so-
have a great time.
They're
And
gonna
she's
have-
gonna
Well,
have a
and I
great
think
time.
right
Say
after
this.
that is that when it shows like they're laying in a barn in like a field of like a bunch of hay, and she's
Oh,
like
yeah,
naked
yeah.
straddling him.
Yeah.
I feel like that's him being like, "Fuck you guys, I'm clearly not what you're saying I am because I've got this naked girl on me."
that was definitely the perception of Prince at the time. It was like a thing.
So this movie's probably trying to help with his image of that.
I think it was this movie. I really think he was trying to tell people like the shit that he deals with in his personal life because he doesn't talk about it. So he's showing like his whole family life. He's showing people are calling him a like he's trying to give more context to the rest of his music. I think that's how I took it.
I feel like that's a very valid opinion. I don't know, but I can totally see that perspective for sure.
Yeah.
It's interesting that he wouldn't give interviews, but he was willing to put out so many of these personal things through this film. Like, why did he want to give?
But he
people
doesn't
that?
have.
Well,
but
'cause
he
he has
doesn't have to
control.
answer. Yeah, he has control, and he doesn't have
And
to
it's a
answer.
one-way street.
Yeah, I don't do interviews, but here I'm gonna just drop this, and then bye, I'm not available.
Yeah. It's a broadcast.
Yeah.
It's a one-way situation.
Interesting. I want to talk about like the aesthetic of the film. Remember that little like monkey popsicle thing in that scene when they're in the dressing room? I'm like,
The monkey
what?
push pop.
Yes, like what is the
You know what
significance
reminded
of
me
this
The Shining.
ventriloquist
Ooh, yeah.
moment?
I don't know because I've never read anything about him about being able to be like the ventriloquist. Like that's never been anything that I've read about Prince. Is like, oh, he's
It's
a
not
good
his skill
ventriloquist.
set. Yeah.
He's like a secret
And I was
ventriloquist.
like very specifically looking at him while this
Yes.
scene was happening. I was like, I don't think this is like
It's
actually
a dub over.
Yeah.
There's no way he is talking.
no. I don't know.
And then there's like a ton of different scenes. It just kind of flashes to like a mask or a doll or like a creepy glass
Yes, like
figurine.
a weird like Victorian piece of china like shit.
Mhm.
Yes, I want to know if
A
you have any
clown.
insight on that. There's like a lot of that weird visual
I
stuff.
don't know.
I don't-
have
Is that
no
just being
insight.
artistic?
Yeah.
The faces, though, for the
Oh yeah, there's
It's-
faces everywhere.
it's on this sleeve for the record.
Yeah.
It's right on the top of that stack, Kai. So then we can all get a visual. That
oh yeah.
this face thing,
There's faces all over
has a thing
the
with
basement.
faces.
and that's
Yeah.
what like some of those porcelain
Mhm.
dolls and stuff
Yes.
that would show up on. I think I don't
Okay.
know what that is.
I don't know.
I don't know what it is, but I do think that he is playing a character, and maybe that's a reference to like him.
Maybe he's just trying to show that he's artsy.
It felt like it was trying to be artsy, but I didn't know if there was any further meaning
I don't know.
to that.
Oh yeah, it came with the poster. Look at his hair.
I'm gonna
By
say
the
that's
way-
his weakest outfit in the whole film.
Is it double-sided or is it just
No.
okay? Look at Wendy and Lisa.
Yeah,
Clearly.
that's a power couple right there.
Look at those asymmetrical. That's what I was telling you. You fit right. Nobody in this photo has a symmetrical haircut.
Oh, yeah.
I see now.
I
They're
could fit
together.
right in.
They're
I see.
together. Yeah, I see.
She has her arm around her waist.
Yeah.
Real nice.
I think it's interesting that he was like all about it.
Yeah, well,
He just
Yeah.
wanted Wendy so bad. He's like, you can have whatever you want.
I-
Even if it's your girlfriend, I'll let you have that.
yeah. Like, just be close to me. You can have your own girlfriend. That's okay.
Baby. What's the
Yeah.
song about the lesbian?
Which one?
Oh, I thought there was a...
We talked about
yucky
one.
one.
Is it Bambi?
Yeah, it's...
Okay.
Oh.
That song's.
Who else would it be about?
It's. Yeah, you're right.
Do you
I
think that's
can't
about
say.
Wendy?
I think who else would it be?
How many lesbians does he hang around with?
That are
Yikes.
together in his band, who he clearly had an
Ooh.
affinity for, and then went after the twin. This is what I want to talk about, and this was what I was going to say this towards the beginning of when we started talking, but like, why are we talking about this?
Hey everyone, it's Alyx. This episode went a little bit long, so we're going to cut it here and make a Purple Rain Part 2. Stay tuned.